All right, Stephanie, look, we are up and running.
Awesome. Ready to go?
Yep.
Well, hey guys, I know we'll have more people joining because we're just going to get started right now, but I'm so excited to introduce Dr. Mike Smith. I have known him for a while, and most of y'all know, most of y'all know, or some of y'all know, like one of the things that I love in my office, that I share in my office, is a product called Juice Plus. And one of the things I love about Juice Plus is the community and the people that you meet. And one of the person that I met was Dr. Mike Smith. And a long time ago, I was having some health issues and was just really frustrated with the whole medical system because I was getting things like, oh, that's just what happened as you get older. And I'm like, no, like there was something that happened and now my body's off. And I know that's not just because I'm getting older. And you hear this all the time. I hear this all the time. My patients will come up and tell me this same thing, kind of things like, oh, it's arthritis, or, oh, that's just what happens as you get older. And it's just not true. Or they'll go in and they'll get all their blood work done and their blood work will come back completely normal. And they're saying there's nothing wrong, but you can tell that there is something wrong. So I was just sitting down talking to him, trying to understand, okay, what is a naturopath physician? I've never heard of this before, and was really intrigued because it was looking at treating the whole body. And in our medical system, I mean, even with physical therapy, we tend to treat, oh, just the symptom here, or only looking at this body part. And a lot of times our medical system only looks at the system in one way and doesn't look at the whole body. And really that's what interested me in wanting to learn more and actually working with Dr. Mike Smith. So I worked with him a long time ago, and you'll hear my story of some recent things that we've done recently this year because of some things that kind of had popped up. And so I always tell people, you know, I go to my regular doctor for all my stuff, but I have Dr. Mike Smith in my back pocket when I'm really looking to do things in more of a natural, holistic way. To help my body get back into balance. And that's what some of the things he's going to be talking about tonight. So I'm so excited for you guys to finally actually meet him and hear his talk. So take it away.
Awesome. Thank you, Stephanie, for the introduction. I really appreciate that. And yeah, it's been awesome to know you and to have the opportunity to be friends and to work together over the years. And I'm grateful for you continuing to kind of push me to put something together for, you know, your peeps and realize like, hey, they need to understand this. They need to do things for their health. They need to really get on the right path. And I get it because, you know, I work with people all the time that, you know, realize they're not on the right path that's leading towards health. And they really want to figure out, okay, how do I get there? Like, what's the right road to take to really help to recover my health and regain it so that I can truly own it. And so that's what I'm going to be talking about tonight and helping to all you guys to understand, like, what's it take? How do you get there? What's it look like? What are some of the issues that are going on? And so I'm going to pull up my slide deck and talk through this a little bit, just so it'll help me stay on track, but so we can kind of get in and talk through some of this. And one of the things that Stephanie mentioned is I'm a naturopathic doctor. And those of you that aren't familiar with this, we are trained as primary care physicians. So we have the same level of medical training as your MD in family practice, but our whole approach is really different. You see, your medical doctor is trained to look at you through a lens of disease. So they're looking to see what disease do you have, and therefore what drug or treatment do you need. We're trained differently to look at you through a lens of health to figure out, okay, where's your health at? And what are the things we need to do to help to restore health, improve health, and get you to a better place? So it's a very different kind of approach and paradigm, even though we have the same medical training and background. And beyond our medical training, we are well trained in nutrition more than any other profession out there. Botanical medicine using herbs to help our body heal, homeopathy, acupuncture, Chinese medicine, hydrotherapy, counseling. There's lots of tools we have, but it's not the tool that makes the difference. It's the approach that we take to really focus on treating you, the person, not to treat just the symptom, the disease, or the illness. Because we are all humans and we're all individuals. And the one thing that we all have in common is that we have this amazing God-given ability to heal. And so when we do the right things, our body heals and can help to restore us back to health with that. And so here at Carolinas Natural Health Center, we are in the Carolinas. We're in Charlotte, North Carolina, but we work with people all over the country and even several other countries, and have for many years. And that's how Stephanie and I have worked together. And there's been numbers of people that she's also referred over the years that are in Texas, and we work with people all over. And it doesn't matter whether they're here in person or we work with them virtually. People get the exact same results with that. And it's not just myself, but Dr. Jill Cole is our other doctor here, and she's someone that you may work with and connect with as well to help to support and guide you on this. But we have a whole team of people, and we have an amazing team. And unfortunately, I haven't yet gotten them all together. It's tough to kind of get us all together to actually get a picture of everybody. So, but here's a handful of our fantastic team members. And another one of our team members is here with us tonight. She is hanging out in the chat, and really want to encourage you guys to jump in the chat, say hi, and love to know kind of what's your primary health concern, or what's a health goal that you have for yourself, and share that with me in the chat so I can know kind of who's on and be able to share the information that's going to make the biggest difference for you. And her name is also Stephanie, and so it's sometimes a little confusing because we have the amazing Stephanie that put this together, and then we have another amazing Stephanie that is really here to help support you on your journey and help to guide you through this with it. And I'm not sure how to distinguish the two, but I'll try and say our Stephanie and your Stephanie maybe to help you guys understand that. But we just have a great team, and excited about that. We're all passionate about empowering people to better health. But this is our team. But the reality is this is really all about you. We are here to support you, and I know that you chose to take the time to show up, to learn some things that can really truly change the course of your health and therefore change the course of your life. I see too often where people are struggling because they don't have the energy that they thought they would, or they're taking multiple medications and realizing that that's not really giving them more health, or they're dealing with some digestive issues and they're dealing with the daily discomforts of that, or pain, or things that are really impacting their quality of life, or maybe they don't sleep well. They're starting to become a little forgetful, or they realize their hormones are out of balance. These are all different situations that people might be in that you might be able to relate to. And what's happening might not yet be a named disease that you need some medications for, or even if it is, those drugs aren't actually giving you more health. And so we really want to help you to get on the right path to help you get to a better place. So I'm going to talk a little about stress, the impact of that on your life, hormones, and inflammation, and what happens with those things, and how they impact us. So here's just kind of brief overview of what we're going to cover tonight. I'm going to try and get through this within the next hour so we can all kind of have some evening time. But we're going to talk about America's healthcare crisis, because we do have a crisis on our hands. We're going to dig in and talk about stress, hormones, and inflammation, and what's really happening and how it impacts us. What's the real underlying cause? And then how to take action to protect your health naturally. Now, I want to encourage you guys to stick around to the end, because Stephanie has really pushed me to put together a special opportunity just for you that could truly make a difference so you can get on the path that you really want and deserve for your health. So let's dig in and talk about America's healthcare crisis. So as you see here, there's a lady taking a bunch of prescription medications. How many of you believe that drugs actually improve health? That drugs are the answer, where we need drugs because they are the way in which we can help to improve our health and fix the disease. Hopefully none of you. Because the reality is there's a time and a place for drugs and medications. I'm not against them, but there's not a drug in the world that actually improves health. That's not what it's designed to do. It's designed to manage the disease process, rescue us from an acute situation, or to treat the symptoms. But in order to get more health, we need to take a different approach. And if drugs were the answer, we would be the healthiest country on earth. And the reason being is because in the United States, we consume more than 60% of the world's medications. More than 60%. But yet we make up less than 5% of the population of the world. I mean, crazy numbers when you think about that, how many drugs that we are taking. And if they were helping to improve our health, we'd be the healthiest nation on earth, but we're among the sickest. And so that's part of the challenge and the reality with it. The other, I'll share the story with you. This is Karen. Karen was a lovely woman that have had the opportunity to work with. And she had come to us after really struggling with her health for a number of years. In fact, she had been diagnosed with a deadly bacterial infection. And she'd been to multiple doctors. They continued to treat her in the exact same way, kept putting her on antibiotic after antibiotic after antibiotic. And after a couple more years of that, she was just, the doctor said, we don't know what else to do. And she was kind of left to die. And her husband, who was just in love with her and was passionate about finding a solution, sought us out. And in a few short months, we were able to help to truly turn her health around and help her recover from that infection and get her health back and her life back. Now she says here that I cured her, and the reality is I didn't cure her. And I was merely her guide along this journey to help to teach her to do the right things to support her body so it could truly heal and be in a better place. And she shared that prescription drugs do not cure diseases. They're only a temporary band-aid at best. And the other thing that often gets in the way of our health is many of us walk around with this card in our wallet. And we're kind of made to think, well, I just need to use that card and I get health because it's called health insurance. But I want you to stop and think for a moment. Does that actually pay for health? Because it's not designed to. And this is where I find a lot of people kind of get stuck because they think, well, I need to use my health insurance card because I pay for that. But I want you to think about every other insurance you own. Car insurance, homeowners insurance, life insurance. Which of those are you excited to go and use? None, right? Because if you're going to use those, that means you're in a crisis. Well, your health insurance is designed the exact same way. It's there in case, in times of crisis. And God forbid you end up in an accident, you break your leg. That's the time to take out your insurance card and go and put it to good use. But dealing with our everyday chronic health issues, this is not the thing that's going to help to recover our health and give us more health. That's not the way that we get there. And just to further illustrate this, I dug out what Medicare had to say. And the reason why is because whatever Medicare does, all other insurance follow along and they do the exact same thing. And Medicare states that care that seeks to prevent disease, promote health, and prolong and enhance the quality of life is not considered medically necessary. So you just need me to translate that for you. That means your insurance will not pay for those things. It will not pay to prevent disease, promote health, or prolong and enhance the quality of life. But those things are important. In fact, you probably have heard the phrase that health is wealth, right? And so it's so true because if we don't have our health, what do we have? And one of the things I think we do really well is teach people how to invest in your health in the right way. Because if you really want health, you need to be willing to step outside a broken system and do something different. And if that's you, if you're willing to do that, I want you to jump in the chat and say, I am. Just raise your hand and just say, I am in the chat and let me know that you're willing to step outside a broken system and do something different to really get your health on the right path. Now, I want to have us just watch this very short video together. And then I'd love to hear your thoughts about this because it's something that a lot of times people don't really give enough thought about kind of what direction they're heading in when it comes to their health. So let's watch this together.
What will your last 10 years look like? Will you be quick enough for a game of tag with your grandchild? Strong enough to embrace every moment? Will you grow old with vitality? Or get old with disease? It's time to decide.
So what do you think? I share this video because a lot of times people don't really think about what direction they're heading when it comes to their health and what the last 10 years of their life are going to look like. Because the reality for most Americans is they end up spending the last 10 years of their life in an assisted living facility with someone else having to take care of them spending somewhere around $5,000 or $10,000 a month. And if that's not your plan, but yet that's the road you're on, well, we need to do something different to change course and get you on the right road, one that can truly lead to better quality and life and health, because it is a choice. But you can't get there and then decide, oh, I didn't want to be here. The choice needs to happen now with that. And so, we want to think about, how do we define health? Because health isn't merely just the lack of disease. Health goes way beyond that. Health is really the state of physical, mental, and social well-being, so that we can truly be vital. We have energy. We can, wake up in the morning and be able to function well, live out our God-given purpose each and every single day. But yet, if you're not feeling well, you go to the doctor and they run some tests, say, oh, everything's fine. But yet you're not feeling well. We're going to talk about why that is. Part of the challenge is that a lot of times what our doctors are actually offering us, the medical procedures and surgeries aren't scientifically proven. But yet we believe that what they're offering us is the best thing in the world. And so what's really happening in this is that there's something else that's driving this. And if you guys haven't already caught on, what's really driving the ship here is the money dollar. Think about the majority of the entities of our healthcare system, our hospitals, our insurance companies, our medical supply companies, our pharmaceutical companies are profit-driven entities. What that means is their number one responsibility is to generate as much profit as possible for their shareholder, which, believe it or not, has little or nothing to do with your health. And we spend more on healthcare in this country than every other country on earth. In fact, we spend 3 times more than every other country. And as we talked about already, we are among the sickest on the planet. And so it's not for lack of spending money on it, but it's heading in the wrong direction. And so we'll teach you, how do you make the right investments in your health to really have it in the future? And part of the issue is that we're missing some of the key things that we need to do. And I refer to these 5 pieces here as the missing pieces. Because what I find is often people are trying to get healthier and they're doing some of these things, but they're not able to put them all together in a way that's really successful in helping to restore and recover their health. Now, I'm going to come back to this a little later and dig into this further, but I want to just outline this because what I find people are doing instead is that they're often playing Dr. Google. And maybe this is you, and if it's you, own up to it. Let me know in the chat that's what you've been doing. And I just saw a woman earlier who came in and crazy anxious and overwhelmed with anxiety because she's been Googling all her symptoms and is completely overwhelmed and getting contradictory information, and now just doesn't even know what to do anymore, and kind of threw her hands up and was thankful she found us, to be able to help have the right guide to get her on the right path. But think about this. Let's say you're driving home today and your check engine light comes on in your car. What would you do? Now, I know for me, this has happened before. So, first thing goes through my head is, oh my gosh, do I have to pull over? I start to listen to the car. Is it safe to continue to drive? I got to get to the mechanic. I got to figure out what the problem is. All these thoughts go through my head within the matter of a second or two. But what you probably wouldn't do, at least I haven't met anybody yet, is reach in the glove box and take out a piece of black tape and cover up that check engine light and keep on driving. But yet what I find a lot of times people are doing with their health is exactly that. You wake up in the morning, your blood pressure's high. You pop the blood pressure medication, blood pressure comes down. The next day you wake up, blood pressure's high. You pop the blood pressure medication and it comes down again. Or you have a headache. You pop that Advil or whatever your choice might be, and you no longer feel a headache, and you keep on going. The symptoms our body expresses to us is your check engine light. That's your body trying to get your attention to say, hey, there's a problem. I need you to do something different. But yet we just pop a pill and keep on going. So if you do that with your car, what eventually happens with the car? Right? It breaks down. Well, the same thing is going on with our health. If we just keep ignoring the symptoms and keep covering them up and masking them because the drugs don't fix the problem, they're merely covering up the symptoms so that we don't feel it and we're able to continue to do what we want to do that day rather than actually take care of ourselves. And that's not the right way to get there either. But what we really need to do is we need to be proactive with our health. Now, how many remember this guy? Who knows his name? Type it in the chat. And he was proactive with his health until the day he died at 94. And in fact, he was a mentor to many of us, and to myself. I remember looking up to him and thinking, wow, like I want to live like that. Yeah, and he was a mentor to an entire nation and really being proactive with his health. Jack LaLanne. Now, some of you might know this woman, and her name is Ernestine Shepard. And Ernestine has an interesting story. So here in this picture, Ernestine is 78 years old. Now, pretty impressive. But she did not always look like that. In fact, some years earlier, she was overweight. She had high blood pressure, pre-diabetic. She was on multiple medications and kept asking her doctor, what can I do differently? And all her doctor had to offer was another pill. And she realized, like, this isn't working. I need to find someone who can really help. And she sought out the best mentor she could find to really help her start to make some changes with her diet and her lifestyle. And she started to make those, be able to lose the weight, get off the medications, and started to lift weights for the very first time at the age of 71. She found she really enjoyed it, and she decided to hire the best mentor she could find. And she hired a former Mr. Universe to train her. And she went on to become the Guinness Book of World Records as the oldest bodybuilding champion in the world. So a pretty cool story. In fact, she's still with us today, and she's in her mid 80s, and she's coaching and mentoring other people to really live a better quality life. And that's a lot of times what it takes, is having the right mentor and guide and being proactive with your health to make the difference. But you also need to be clear on what's going to drive you. What's your why? And so I want to hear from each of you guys, and just type this in the chat. Why do you want better health? A lot of times what I hear is, well, I want more energy, I want to sleep better. Those are all great things, but why? Like, what will you do with it if you have those things? I know for me, I've got a pretty big why, and I'll share mine with you to help you understand what I want you to be thinking about for yourself. And so for me, I've been a single dad for a number of years. These are my 3 kids. And my why is to be sure I'm there for them. I get to see them grow up. I get to see them graduate. I get to see them walk down the aisle, and I get to know their kids, and their kids get to know me. Now my why also got bigger about 2 years ago. This is my extended family now. I got married, and my wife Sean and her 2 kids. So I have a lot more people that rely on me. And so it's not just about me. It's about my family, and for me to take care of me so someone else doesn't have to. And that's what I find a lot of times, is you can't just keep ignoring it, because if you don't take care of you, someone else is going to have to. So we want to make sure that we got a clear why, and write it down, get clear, because there's going to be days you don't feel like it. But if you got a big enough why, it's going to continue to help you stay on the right road. And I'll share this story of Lindsay, who's a young woman we've had the opportunity to work with. And one of the things we do when we work with individuals is we track your progress. We do it in a number of ways. We do it with some objective measures, with lab tests. We also have kind of what we track is in terms of how you're feeling with regards to your symptoms. And Lindsay, who came in, this is November, a year ago, November, came in, and these are what she was experiencing: diarrhea, fatigue, night sweats, seasonal allergies, eczema, mostly on her face, depression, headaches, postnasal drip, and abdominal pain. And we have people rank these on a scale 1 to 10, 10 being the worst, 1 being nothing at all. And you see, when she first started with us, a lot of 9s and 10s, and really not doing well. And she really had very little energy. She was, frustrated, and really thought she was doing all the right things. She's been trying to eat healthy and be exercising and taking care of herself, but nothing was working and helping her. And through going through and doing the appropriate tests to figure out what's really going on, helping to uncover the underlying issue, and then guiding her through making the right changes, what you can see her progress over just a few months' time, where, in her last report last May, mostly 1s and 0s. Like many of these things were no longer even an issue for her, not even on a radar. In fact, she wouldn't have even thought of it if she didn't have this to fill out again, which is such a cool thing. And even better than that, she was able to, she met the man of her dreams and was able to plan a wedding, because she had the energy to do all this and get married. And it was just awesome to see her be able to do those things because she was able to regain her energy and her health through this. Now, I want to ask you guys a question. How many of you guys experience stress? Right? Yeah, we all do. But what I want to know is what happens when you're stressed? Like, what do you feel when you're stressed? What do you notice in your body? 'Cause I know people notice different things and experience stress differently. Or some people, they get tired. Some people get anxious. Some people get hungry. Some people can't eat. They get nauseous. Some people just, check out. Some people experience more pain. Like, what happens with you and your body when you experience stress? I see Shelly sharing, more pain, more anxiety. Yeah, like it affects us, physically as well as mental and emotionally. Stress is one of these things that's probably the biggest obstacle to our health. And there's lots of different stressors that we experience. And, just kind of highlight just a few. We have things like on the left of your screen there, physical stressors, bump, bang, bruise, or God forbid, an accident or a major trauma. We have chemical stressors in the middle of your screen from, the world we live in, all the chemicals we're exposed to. And a lot of these disrupt our health. They can mess with our hormonal balance. They can trigger our immune system to be more inflamed. And they're a major stressor on our body. And then sometimes things we ingest, like alcohol, is also another chemical stressor. And then emotional stress. And I'm going to guess many probably experience some of this today, whether it was, your spouse, your kids, your boss, traffic, whatever the case might be, and these things, when you experience them, are affecting you physically, mental, emotionally, and on the cellular level, where they're shifting the whole hormones and hormonal balance in your body with what's happening. In fact, a lot of times what people think about is when they're more stressed, and you may have experienced this where, your body changes. Like you start to put on a little excess weight. And I know, many people who feel like, well, I'm eating everything the same, but yet I'm putting on weight. Like, what changed? And part of what changed is your hormones are beginning to shift and causing some of those issues. And hormones play a big role in our body. In fact, we have over 600 hormones. See, hormones are these important chemical messengers that control and regulate everything in our body, from our digestion, our sleep, our mood, our libido, our immune system, and everything else. It's all regulated by hormones. Now, I'm not going to go through all 600 hormones with you, but I just want to highlight a couple of groups of hormones. And these are the fat-burning hormones and the fat-storing hormones. Now, which of those do you want? Well, the reality is we need them both. Like, we need them both because with hormones, it's always about balance. There's always an opposing hormone to each other. And so when our hormones are in balance, we have better health. But here's one of the things I want to highlight with these two groups of hormones is we don't really do a great job in supporting our fat burning hormones, which are also sometimes referred to as the anti-aging hormones. But we do an amazing job in supporting our fat storing hormones. In fact, we get an A+. And think about this. We eat a diet that's high in processed foods and sugars and carbohydrates that drives up the demand for insulin, which is a fat storing hormone in the body, and drives more inflammation. We surround ourselves in all kinds of chemicals and various plastics that mimic estrogen in the body and stimulate our estrogen receptors that cause our bodies to store more fat. And fat cells themselves produce more estrogen, and so you kind of get stuck in this cycle. And then we stress ourselves out. And that stress causes your cortisol levels to go up, which is another hormone that causes your body to store fat. And so all those things we're doing to drive fat storage. And again, you could not eat anything and do that and be packing on weight. And a lot of times what's happening is, there's all these different like diets out there and things that can trick your body to lose weight, but they're not sustainable and they're not fixing this. They're not fixing the hormonal issues that caused it in the first place. And so what happens? You just pack the weight back on and then some. And so you're worse off because a lot of times those diets and things, actually, you can lose muscle a lot easier than you can lose fat. And so if you lose muscle, what are you gaining back when you gain the weight back? Well, it's not muscle, it's fat. And so over time, you create a less lean body because you lose muscle, gain fat, lose muscle, gain fat. And that in itself is shifting the whole hormonal balance and metabolism in your body as well. And so what then starts to happen is your body looks different, right? And these are, 4 examples of different hormonal imbalances that can show up in the body. Now, the reality is a lot of times people are a combination of these, but I just wanted you to understand kind of how things can impact you in some of the things that we look at to understand what's happening in your body. Because someone who may be having excessive levels of estrogen is going to pack on more weight, more in their thighs and their hips. Now, this can happen with men as well, where even more in the thighs and the breasts. Someone that has tapped out adrenals, they've been through long periods of stress, they're packing on the belly fat and they're trying really hard to lose it, but they just can't. And they might be losing weight, but they're actually losing muscle because they don't have the right hormonal balance to maintain proper muscle mass. And thyroid issues are a major problem. A lot of times they are not diagnosed properly because doctors aren't running the right tests. And someone might just be have a little excess weight all throughout their body. And then the last one, there's someone with a toxic liver. And the most common cause of this is alcohol. But I also see this in plenty of people that don't drink, and it's usually due to the drugs or medications they're taking or the chemicals from our world and environment that has contributed to that, where that they just have that hard distended abdomen with it. And so again, most people are some combination of this, but it gives you a sense of what those hormones are doing in your body and how it's starting to change it. And it also affects us in other ways, where it can start to impact libido and sex drive, which can rip relationships apart. And it's not okay because we end up pointing fingers rather than actually trying to find a solution to what's really going on in the body. Now, I'm really curious about this because I see a lot of people that come in and they're frustrated because they haven't felt well and they've been to the doctor and sometimes multiple doctors and they run tests and the doctor says, "Oh, everything's fine." Now, if you've had that experience or something like that, just type in the word labs in the chat. I want to know if you've had an experience like that, where you went to the doctor because you didn't feel good, and the doctor ran some tests and they said, "Oh, everything's good. You're fine." So what's the truth? What's the reality? Well, the reality is you're not good. You're not fine because that's not how you feel. The lab tests are useful if we know how to use them appropriately, but they're not the tell-all. What's going on in your body? You know your body better than anybody else. So don't let some other doctor tell you, "Oh, you're fine," when you're not, because that's not true. And yeah, I see you guys have had those experiences with it. And so there's 2 reasons why this is happening that I want you guys to understand. One of the reasons is that your doctors are not running the right tests. So if you remember when I talked about kind of the difference in our training and approach, your doctors are only running tests to figure out what disease you have. And so when they say you're fine, that doesn't actually mean you're fine. It just means you don't have a disease that they can find based on the testing that they did. But we know that, just because you don't have a disease doesn't mean you're healthy. The other reason is because they're only looking at labs that fall outside the normal range. Now, most people don't have any idea how they establish the normal range on labs. Here's the crazy thing, is the normal range on labs is actually based on the average of the people that go to the lab. So think about this for a moment. Who goes to get lab tests? Well, they're mostly sick people. So we take the average of a bunch of sick people and we call that normal. Well, we're never going to figure out what health looks like if that's what we do. Now, I've been practicing for over 20 years, and I've seen the lab values change since I was in medical school because we've gotten sicker as a nation. And it's absurd. And so instead of just looking at what's normal and thinking that that's okay, we look at where your lab value should be for optimal health. So we can actually help to figure out what's really happening in your body and get you back to where you want to be and want to go with this. And just want to give you a quick example of this. And I use TSH. Now, TSH stands for thyroid stimulating hormone. And if you have a thyroid issue, this may be something that's been tested for you. Now, interesting thing is TSH is actually not a measure of thyroid function. It's a measure of pituitary function. And too often doctors use this and sometimes only this to assess thyroid, which is not the right way to do it. When we look at thyroid, we're looking at 9 different markers of thyroid because it's a really important hormone in your body. We want to know what's really happening with it so we can make sure we're addressing it the right way. But back to TSH here. So normal range on TSH is somewhere from 0.3 to 5.7. It could vary a little bit based on your lab, but that's pretty typical what you might see. That's a pretty big range for that. Really where it should be for optimal health is between 1 and 3. So just a simple example of that. Another one I'll use is testosterone. And testosterone is a hormone that's often associated with us men, but both men and women have testosterone, and it's important for both of us for energy, motivation, maintaining muscle mass, libido, cardiovascular wellness, cognition. So a lot of really important things that testosterone plays a role with. Now, the range I have up here is actually for a male, and this is what's considered the normal range is 200 to 800. Now, the interesting thing, the normal range, 20 years ago was up to 1400 for normal. Now that's considered abnormal because it's become so low that it's a real issue. Now, for you guys or you wives that have husbands, if they go and get their testosterone level checked and the doctor says, "Oh, it's normal, it's 250," that's pretty darn low. In fact, they're not going to have a whole lot of energy and motivation. They're probably not going to have a sex drive. They have a hard time maintaining muscle mass. Are you okay with that? Doctor says it's okay. But really, where should it be? Well, somewhere kind of between 600 800 is more optimal with that. So 650 would be a good number where that's going to support your health. So we can't just say, take the doctor's word and say, "Oh, it's all fine, it's normal." We need to actually understand what these numbers mean and where we need to go. And so we teach you guys those things to know how to really be empowered around your own health. Because the reality is that 90% of all of our diseases that are prevalent today are not treatable by what our doctors have to offer. 90%. That's all of our chronic health issues. A lot of things you guys have been talking about, anxiety, arthritis, the pain, digestive issues, autoimmune diseases, high blood pressure, depression. These things are not treatable by what our doctors have to offer. The best they can do is offer a management of it, not a solution. So what's the 10% that they really can treat? Well, those are your acute illnesses. Then you break your leg, God forbid you end up in an accident. These are times to go to the emergency room, take out that insurance card and put it to good use. That's what it's there for. So back to these that I referred to earlier as the missing pieces. We need to be able to, I'm going to talk through these a little bit and figure out how to put them together in a way that can really help to restore your health and get you to the place that you want to be and deserve to be with it. Because it's important to support our bodies to detoxify properly. And detoxification is not something that is necessarily an event. It should be something your body is really designed to do every single day. And so we want to support your body in doing that properly. Because of the world we live in and these chemicals that impact our health negatively can often be an obstacle in the way of your health. Nutrition and food is by far the most powerful medicine we have. That always makes the biggest difference when it comes to your health. But the crazy thing is our doctors have zero training in nutrition. But yet it's the most powerful medicine there is. And one of the reasons why, I'm also a big fan of Juice Plus that Stephanie mentioned, because it's fruits and vegetables. We need to figure out how do we get more in our diet to help to create a good foundation of that. But we go way beyond that to figure out, because there's a lot of confusion out there, is what should I eat, right? Everybody has a different diet and dietary idea. And so we don't want to guess at this. Instead, we do specific testing to figure out what are those foods that are triggering some of the inflammation in your body, that's causing some of the pain, that's causing some of the immune dysfunction, that's contributing to your hormonal imbalance, that might be affecting your brain function or your sleep or other things in your body as well. And then we're physical beings, we need to move. It's an important piece. But a lot of times it's not the place to start, especially if your body's inflamed and you don't have a lot of energy. We really need to first calm down the inflammation, get you more energy, and then we talk about what to do with it. So we can really set you up well for long-term health and wellness, because the three biggest benefits of exercise is improve mood and mental focus, improve hormone balance, and improve fat metabolism. And so we teach what to do and how to do it. It's not complicated, and any of you can do this very well. And then the other piece is hormones. And so I've been talking about hormones and the importance of that. I hope you're starting to understand how crucial they are to our health. But it's one of these areas that's seldom looked at, or if it is, it's typically not being addressed in the right way. So we teach you all about that and help you to get there. And then the final piece is probably the most important is mentorship. And this really helps to pull all this together and to be able to not just leave you off on your own to figure it out, but really to guide you through it step by step, day by day, week by week. So you can really be successful making the right changes, but more importantly, understand not just what to do, but why. And so we spend a great deal of time to teach and educate you every step of the way, really so that you can understand and take ownership over your health, because this is your health. It's not ours, it's not somebody else's. And we want to ensure that you're truly empowered with that. So we put all of these pieces together and take a comprehensive approach to take you on a journey, to get you from where you're at to where it is you want to go, and help to guide you along that, to teach and educate you so you can continue to maintain your path on a way to better health. Now, I know some of you may think, well, I've done some of this. I changed my diet, I did a fitness program, or I may have done a detox. But a lot of times what's happened, why you haven't achieved the results that you're after, is because we haven't put the right pieces in the right place. We haven't really had a system to help you succeed. 94% of all failures is due to not having a system. And so our programs are comprehensive, and they have all 5 essential pieces. They're individualized to help you get to where you need to go to deal with the underlying root issue that's affecting your health. And we put them together in a systematic way. So it's easy to follow and easy to do with all of our coaching and support, so you can really be a success with that. So let me ask you guys this question. Can you determine the future of your health? Type your answer in the chat. Yes or no. Can you determine the future of your health? Now, hopefully, you're nodding yes. Because absolutely you can. You can determine the future of your health. But we got to do some right things, right? Because if we just kind of leave it to chance and continue on the same road that we've been on, well, we're probably not going to see more health in the future. We're probably going to continue to see a decline. And we can estimate that if we look back and think, well, where did I come from a few years ago? Oh, wow, yeah, we're declining in our health. We're not going in the right direction. So what's it take? Well, it takes, we need to order the right test. We need to actually understand what's happening with your body, so we know where we need to focus in order to determine the true underlying cause and stop just treating symptoms. Because we actually have to correct the real dysfunction that's going on, and not just think, oh, our labs look better because I took a drug. Because it didn't do a darn thing to actually improve your health. It might have made your doctor happy, but your health is no better. Because we need to ensure we're addressing your body as a whole. It is a system. It is a unit. God made us in a way that all of our parts work in synergy together. But we have this ridiculous healthcare system where you see one doctor for your eyeballs, one for your toes, one for your skin, one for your heart, one for your intestines, and nobody talks to each other. And they don't even comprehend how these things go together. Now, please don't hear anything I have to say as being against medical doctors. I have a lot of friends that are MDs, and honestly, they're just as frustrated by the system that they're part of as we are. But it's a broken system. And it's all about the dollar and profits, not your health. And so we need to look at things differently and to have a systematic approach. We're not just throwing darts. Oh my gosh, how many people I've seen. In fact, even just today, another woman who came in, she's been to 6 different doctors, and she's had so many different approaches thrown at her. And, no one's actually thought about, how do we restore health? Like what should step 1 be and step 2? They're just throwing darts. Oh, here, try this. Oh, that didn't work. Here, try this. She's done with it. She has so many other issues and effects from being down that road for years now. So we need to have a systematic approach to be able to recover your health, because your body will heal when we do the right things. And then having the right mentor and guide, it makes all the difference. Because when you're starting down a road and you're seeing some improvements, and then you're not, you need to figure out, well, where do I turn? And that's part of our job, is to help continue to be that guide, to ensure that we continue to get all the way to where you want to go and make sure you understand it. And this is a great little proverb that I like, because it kind of represents the work we do. Tell me, and I may remember. Right? Show me, and I will remember. Involve me, and I'll understand. That's what we do. To help you get to your goals with that. But here's the deal, guys. we got to wake up and stop procrastinating. Oh my gosh. How many times I hear from people like, oh, hey, Dr. Smith, that's great. I'm going to call you tomorrow. Or I'll reach out to you next week. Or I can't wait to get in touch with you. And I know they're well-intended. And I know you are too. But what I find happens is, life looks different. Oh, something else looked more important than my health. There's nothing more important than your health. It's your most valuable asset. It will make the biggest difference and always will. And so, I encourage you guys to not just put this off. And so we're going to make this real easy for you. And I'm going to invite Stephanie to jump back on and just share a little about kind of her journey and her path in working with us. And because we put together a special opportunity for you to really help you get on the right road. So Stephanie, I'd love for you to share kind of your work and the process of how we work together and the benefits that you've seen.
Yeah, I mean, his philosophy is very similar to my philosophy in the sense that, we see the same thing in our office. People are being treated like they just go to the body part that hurts and they're only treating the symptoms and they're only treating part of something. It's like they only look at the joints or they only look at the muscles, and no one really puts everything together. And that's kind of what we do. And so literally every time I talk to Dr. Mike Smith, I'm like, oh my God, he speaks my language. And it totally makes sense to me from a body's perspective. And so, with COVID and everything, you kind of get off track a little bit, and it's been crazy. And earlier this year, I had COVID, nothing bad. If you looked at me, you would have never known that I was even sick. I just had congestion but I could tell my body was off. And one of the biggest things that I find, even with clients that have come in that have had COVID, is that it creates kind of like an autoimmune type problem within the body, and everyone, how they present and is a little bit different. But I could tell just with me always feeling good and energetic and getting my body back into balance after the first time I'd worked with him, I knew something was off. I was gaining weight, not doing anything different. And I was like, I've got to figure this out. So of course I reached out to him, we spoke, and he's like, oh yes, we need to go. I'm going to put you on this kind of detox program. And that's what I did. And just like at my office, what I love to do is give people education as to why it's happening and what they can do and kind of guide them through the process to get them out of whatever it is. Well, they basically did the same thing. Obviously you go through all the blood work, which was fantastic. So they know exactly what it is for you, like what's going on with you. Of course, when I looked at my blood work and they put it in we looked at what was the normal medical system blood work and what the reports were, most everything was normal. There wasn't really anything abnormal about it. But when they went and put it within their frameworks of what is, all of a sudden you can start seeing small things that were off, that need to be worked on, and coming up with a game plan as to what you're going to do and how you are going to combat this, and then kind of guiding you through the whole process and really giving you a lot of education week by week with videos and different things and other ways of supporting you to understand how you can maintain this and start understanding your body better. Because as you take things away from your body and you start adding them back in, you start understanding your body better. Is like, oh, wait, I reacted to that. I probably shouldn't be doing that. Let me just take that out longer or forever, whatever it is for you. And so you really just start understanding yourself and understanding what works for you. And when that happens, I kind of started getting scared because the first month I dropped weight so fast. I was like, oh, I think I need to go eat bad, because I dropped probably 8 or 9 pounds in like a month. And I'm like, this is crazy. Like I'm eating and I'm, following kind of the program. But then more importantly, like I wasn't really doing it for that. I was really doing it to feel better. Like my sleep was off. I started getting hot flashes. I'm like, I haven't had this. This is crazy. And all of it started normalizing, and I started feeling better, and I started understanding my body even better. I already understood my body pretty well, but I understood it even better from going through this program. So I'm, excited. If anyone comes to my office and they have any kind of issues, they'll hear Dr. Mike Smith's name. Like he says, if anyone comes from Texas, they're like, oh, I know who referred you. But I can't find anyone in Texas that I've been able to send people to to get the results that Dr. Mike Smith gets. I just haven't, which is why I was excited to say like, hey, let's do this in January. I've been through the program. I want to share this with other people because I know that there's other people out there just like me looking for answers, tried a lot of different things. Nothing's really worked, having pieces, but no one really putting everything together. And that's why we're doing this tonight for our community, because people need to know that they can get better and that it doesn't have to be done with drugs, or you don't have to be frustrated because your doctor says that's just what happens as you get older, or that nothing is wrong with you when you know there's something that's wrong with you, because I believe you. I see it all the time. So that's why we're having this tonight, and I'm excited for him to give you guys, just for you guys, a special offer on working with him.
Awesome. Yeah. And it's so true. And, one of the things you just touched on was what doctors often say, or not just doctors, your friends. Oh, it's just your age. That's why you feel this way. That's why you're sore and achy in the morning, or why you can't remember what you walked in the next room for, or why you need to take a nap in the afternoon. I want to tell you, your age has nothing to do with it. It's not your age. It's the things that you've done yourself and the things that have happened to you over the years that's why you're feeling that way. And so, because people just discount, oh, it's just my age, I can't do anything about it. No, that's not true at all. So, yeah, I want you to know you can do something significant about it. And so, I want to share with you the opportunity that we have, and it's to go through the same thing that Stephanie's gone through, to be able to work with us through a comprehensive program where you get the right testing done that's going to help you to understand what's really happening with your health. And we're going to go over that with you in detail. It'll be unlike any other lab review you've ever had with any other doctor, because you're going to understand what the heck's going on, and what do these numbers mean, and what you can really do about it. And we're going to empower you through that. We're also going to be looking at foods and do specific testing around that to know what foods are triggering some of the inflammatory issues in your body. And so, that weight loss you talked about, Stephanie, like that dramatic of a weight loss is due to inflammation. Your body's inflamed. And so when we see that, like we're able to kind of help turn off the inflammation, and your body's able to release that, which obviously helps you feel better because you move better, you sleep better, you function better, digestion is better, you think better, because inflammation is the starting point for all diseases. And so for some of you that are already, dealing with different, disease processes, whether it's, arthritis or cancer or things like that in your body, this because you've been living with these things. And so we need to help to work with your body to really resolve that. So we get those things done. We're going to guide and coach you through a whole wellness curriculum that we put together to really teach you about your own body, because a lot of people, most people don't understand, how do you really take care of this in the right way? And we're not taught these things. And it goes beyond just kind of your body, but also looking at, your environment. Your household, and how do we, take care of ourselves, including even your personal care products, stuff you put on your skin, which is your biggest organ in the body. Like, what should you use that's going to make a difference rather than contribute to the health that you might have and the disease process going on. So we teach you all of those things, and we'll coach and guide you through it so that you can start to regain the things that you want and really truly help to detoxify your body properly, to improve your overall gut and digestive health, which is so foundational to the rest of your health. So you'll learn all these things way more than I can even dig into or talk about today. So let me just kind of pull up just kind of outline of what's all included in our program, because we take a comprehensive approach, because we want to help with everything that's going on in your body to really resolve it. And this is really all about you guys. Stephanie's been after me to, please, can we do this? Can we do this? So many people I see need your help. They, and there's nowhere else to turn. It's not another drug that's going to resolve it. They need to understand, and they need this information, and they need your support. And so I'm grateful that we're able to pull this together and do this for you guys. And so our programs include all of our care and support, which we don't limit. It includes the lab testing that we do. It includes a review of your labs, the design of your program, the nutritional supplements that you'll need to help to support you in recovering your health and getting on the right path, the whole educational wellness curriculum, unlimited coaching and support and guidance, physician guidance from myself and Dr. Cole, our appointments, all that's included. And we include everything really for two reasons. One, because we want you to have everything you need in order to be a success. And the second reason is because we want you to also understand what the investment looks like. your health is valuable. And most people don't even know where to start when it comes to investing in your health. And so we put this together so you can understand what that investment looks like, and we can help you get started today. Not put this off, not think, oh, that's a great idea, I'm going to do that someday, but instead actually get started today. And so because Stephanie has pulled you guys together, we're also able to offer this at a substantial discount. And so with our program, our 3 months of guidance through this whole process, that includes everything we talked about. The total investment for that and value for that is $3,700. We're able to discount that by 10%. So it brings your investment down to $3,330 for the 3 months of our care, all your lab testing, all your supplements to help you get there. Or we can also split that into 2 equal payments of $1,697. For some of you that might be like, well, that's more than I was thinking, or a sizable investment. But I want you to think about what are the costs that you've incurred when it comes to your health in the healthcare system, whether it's drug costs, co-pays, lost time from work, inability to actually participate in things because you don't feel well. What are the costs of those things? We have so many costs, but what people don't often think about is how to invest in your health. And talk about this as an investment because it truly is an investment, and probably one of the most valuable investments you'll make that will pay off for years and decades to come in the future with that. Now, in addition to this, I want you guys to go ahead and get started tonight. We're able to provide an additional opportunity with this for those of you that go ahead and sign up. And there's a little sign up on the right side of your screen. You can click a button, it says add to cart, and you can go through the checkout process, and we'll get you started with everything that you need. If you go ahead and take care of and pay in full with it, we'll not just make a 3-month program, we'll make it a 4-month program. We get 4 months of our support and guidance through all this, where we will be there with you every step of the way to truly help to ensure that you're able to get on the right road. But we just won't help you get there. We're going to help you stay there. And that's one of the biggest difference in the work that we do is I have little interest in helping somebody for just a few months. I truly want to help you for the rest of your life. And that's why we put our program together in the way that we do to help you to regain that for yourself.
And I just kind of want to add to, it's really an educational process. So, think of going to a conference and spending money to learn something that you need to learn within your field. This is very similar, but it's learning to understand your body. So the information that you get, the education that you get is really valuable in understanding how to take care of your body long-term.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, that is the most valuable piece. And we're told time and time again, I learned so much. This changed my life. And you can see that on our reviews, our website from hundreds of people that have shared that information. And we've coached thousands of people. I've been in practice for over 20 years, and it's been joy to have this impact on people and their health in that way. So again, you can click on the button on the right side of your screen. It will open up another window and it'll take you through a checkout process. And if for some reason that doesn't work, you have a handy phone, you can scan the little QR code on the screen as well. It'll take you to the same page. We're able to go ahead and get yourself set up and sign up for that. What will happen next from there is we'll be in touch with you in the next day or so to go ahead and get your labs ordered. That's kind of the first step in our process, and to get you on our schedule for your next appointments with us. Your very next appointment will be with one of our health coaches to go through orientation to help you get plugged into our online wellness portal, which is part of the education you'll be getting from us, and as well as to help set you up well for the next steps in the process. There's some initial nutritional supplements you're going to get started with that's going to help to start to calm down the inflammation in your body and really improve your overall gut and digestive health, so we can get more of the nutrients we need into you in order to continue the healing work that needs to happen with this. And so those are the next steps in the process to help you get there with it. But the reality is that this is a choice. This is something you get to choose kind of where you want to be. Because what ends up happening is we can't get there and decide, well, I don't want to be there. So do we want to be more like Ernestine and be active and vital and engaged at the age of 80? Or do we want to be kind of, fragile and walk around with our cane and hope we're just getting through the day? But it's a choice you get to make tonight to help you get there with that. So I really appreciate you guys' time and attention with this. I'm happy to stick around and answer questions that you guys have as well with it. And just to talk you through kind of the next steps of what happens. And we will reach out to you. We'll get you scheduled. We'll have all your contact information once you complete that form there, and we will get your labs ordered. You do not have to come to Charlotte. You're always welcome to. There's no requirement in that. Again, we work with people all over the country. We'll find a lab nearby you where you can go and get your labs done, get your blood drawn. We'll get those results here in the office. We go through a much more extensive analysis than your typical lab report. And in fact, it's typically a 30 to 40 page report that you get from us that we will talk you through and guide you through, that will help you understand all that so that it can make a difference for you. For sure. Hey, Gretchen, I see that you need a link sent to your email. Can't do it on your phone right now, not a problem. I'll have Stephanie get that to you. And our Stephanie, two Stephanies on here. Stephanie that you guys know that invited you, and then our Stephanie who's hanging out in the chat, and she can help to get you that link and get you set up. And looking forward to helping you. Truly, it's probably the greatest joy I have each day is to hear from people that we work with what a difference this has made in terms of their health and their life, for them, for their family, and really for the community. That's one of the things that I love, is because I know it not just helps you, it helps them to have a ripple effect that impacts other people around you. And we need that. Oh my gosh, we're so sick as a nation, and we continue to get sicker. And we have like 70% of the population that's overweight or obese. Almost 2/3 of the population is heading towards diabetes, which increases the risk of heart disease by fourfold. Increased risk of cancer, all sorts of things. And we need to change course. And I can quickly become overwhelmed thinking about how I can try and change the system, the healthcare system, this behemoth, that is so large and has pockets that are deeper than you can imagine. But what helps me to calm down from that level of anxiety is to focus on you, the person in front of me, and to think, how can I help you right now and get you on the right road to support you with that. So yeah, absolutely. And you can click on the link. There's an offer to your right to go through that process. You can scan the QR code, or if for some reason that's not working, Stephanie will reach out to you and get you set up with all that as well.
Christian had a question. Can you see it?
I can. Yep. So Gretchen, I see your question. Thoughts on using testosterone pellets for women. I find they make me feel great, along with a low dose of progesterone and thyroid support. So it really depends. In general, like I'm not quick to jump to just putting outside hormones in the body unless there's a real need, like there's a real deficiency. And so a lot of times the work we do is trying to get your body, your endocrine system, your hormonal system to communicate better, to work better, to try and identify where there might be some deficiencies or issues to help to support those. And we do all those. A lot of times we get to a place where, hey, we don't need those things, which is great. And sometimes we find that, hey, we're doing all the right stuff. We've seen improvements. It's still not quite yet where it needs to be. And so we might need some additional outside support. And so, it's not my first go-to, because there's always kind of issues that come along with when we put outside hormones in the body. But at times there is some people that have a real need for that, because their body can no longer produce the level of hormones that they need to keep their health in a good place. So again, we'll support you with that. We'll look at those things with you. We'll do the right testing to help understand some of those aspects as well, so we can help with all that. But yeah, they can make you feel better. But again, is it a quick fix, or is it actually correcting the issue at hand and helping to improve health? And that's what we're looking at with that. So awesome, great question. Because other questions, happy to answer those. Or if you realize, like, hey, I just need to talk to somebody. This is our Stephanie, who's hanging out in the chat, and she's here to support you. And she can be available to you can book a call directly with her. She can talk through your health goals, talk about what's involved with our programs, and help to really make sure you get on the right path for you and get you to the health that you want. Or if you wanted to set up a payment plan with that, she can help you do that. Again, the opportunity to get you set up tonight is you get not just a 3-month program with us, but a 4-month program to get our support to really get yourself on the right path to regain your health and quality of life with that. Now, for whatever reason, the buttons don't work or the links don't work, whatever, just text us. You can reach us at the number that's there on the screen. And Stephanie's the one that you'll hear back from. Again, the Stephanie in the picture, the one you guys know. And she's great. She'll be back in touch with you and just set up a time to get you connected. She can also provide the links via text as well. So do feel free to use that text number to reach out to her and get connected that way, so we can be there to support you guys. Anything else you wanted to add, Stephanie, in terms of kind of benefits you've seen? Or
Yeah, I mean, so like in our office, I usually can tell when something's not mechanical, there's other things that are going on. So, we feel pain in a lot of different ways. And one of them is mechanical, which is what we actually address. Rarely is it chemical, but it can be. And that's where you get more of the, you need, drugs to kind of help offset some of those chemicals, but you can still have things that are mechanical that are creating those chemicals. So you've got to get to the source of that. But you also have other offshoots to that. So when we find that there's not patterns to, like with anything that's orthopedic, there's patterns to everything. And we can figure out what those patterns are. But then all of a sudden it's like things are off. You can have things that are autoimmune that are creating some of your symptoms. And you can also have things that are emotional that are creating your symptoms. And it's easy for us. Well, I say it's easy. It's not easy because most people can't figure it out, but it's easy for us to see okay, we've already taken care of your mechanics. There's some other things that are going on. Are you starting to notice, that you're getting a lot of bloating and gut issues and sleep issues? And all of a sudden, yes. Or they'll have these really random offshoots. And that's when I start saying, oh, yes, we've got to get you to Dr. Mike Smith. And it may take, sometimes it takes people 6 months before they'll say actually yes to him. But I will always get a text message from them after they started working with him, almost 3 months to 6 months later, basically thanking me because they had their life back. And no one else could figure out what it was. And it's not that Dr. Mike Smith is figuring out what it is, because, in the medical system, we look for a diagnosis. We want this diagnosis. Oh, great. But then what do you do with it? Well, I don't know. It doesn't give us any information on what to do with it. Well, we don't really need, just like in physical therapy, I don't need a diagnosis. We just need to figure out where's the breakdown coming from. Let's get to the source of that and build it back up again. And that's exactly what Dr. Mike Smith does. And when I sent him, they've done every testing that you could think of out there, imaging, all these things. I'm like, do it. You're going to spend a lot of money, but it's probably going to come back normal. They will come back to me you're right, it has, or it's something that's really minor. They don't know what to do with it. And I'm like, I know, you had to go through that journey to get here, but he does a fantastic job. And like I said, I've tried other places. I've sent some of my patients to other places thinking, okay, I think I found someone in Dallas that might help. And I don't get the same results. I just don't.
Yeah. Well, it's so true. And I appreciate your words around that. And it's one of these things where, it's something where there's often other things going on. In fact, the woman I talked about, I saw earlier today, that's been to a bunch of doctors. She had a long list of what seemed like, minor symptoms, if you take them one at a time, but when you put them all together, it's like, holy cow, there's significant going on in her body. And the doctors keep saying, oh, she's fine. There's no issues there. So and she's been just beyond frustrated and realizing that there's something wrong. And, you know your body better than anybody else with it. So, I'm grateful that we're able to do this and put this together. And also, so you guys know, you guys are fast tracked, because normally just to get in with me, it's at least 6 weeks to get in, to even see if we'll work together. But Stephanie is not only a good friend, but has put in a good word for you and said, these people need your help and they're committed, because we really work with people who are committed, who are ready to take action and are going to be coachable in the process. So, looking forward to work with you guys. So that's been great. Awesome. Cool. Well, I'm going to wrap things up. Thank you guys so much for your attention and your time this evening. I'm grateful that Stephanie pulled this off and put this together, and then I could take this time to really share this information with you. And I know Stephanie will be able to our Stephanie will be able to connect with you and follow up, and your Stephanie will be able to be available to share this as well with some that couldn't make it here tonight. But very much look forward to meeting each and every one of you in the coming days and weeks. Thanks so much. You guys have a great night.